Hello, so I want to make a short video about discipline and how it works and what the benefits are. So in Daphne, all characters have the ability to discipline in the training room, and this lets you use some of their extra copies to level up their stats. And the stat increases are kind of top heavy. The higher level discipline levels do add more than the lower ones, but it is actually a very important part of developing your character. So let's go, for example, on my Elf Mag. This is a Nameless adventurer. If you don't know why you would develop Nameless adventurer, I'll explain this here in a second, but she has Discipline rank 9. And as you can see, she gets quite all these pluses here. These are not all just from disciplines. There's some other things that modify some of these. But all your discipline stats, all your bond mates, all your relics and stuff, all these will be in these pluses here. Also passives like this and stuff will also be in these numbers here. But discipline adds quite a bit to these stats. So a discipline rank 9 for a Nameless adventurer, they get an extra 64 HP, an extra 10 action speed, and then plus 18 to everything else, which is actually pretty significant. Plus 18 might not sound like a lot, but look at my Elf Mage's SP. She only has 44, and that's like, and again, 18 of that comes from discipline. She also gets 4 from a relic, which is this thing here. She gets 4 SP from this relic too. But so she has, her base SP is just 22. And you might think, well, mages, they don't need SP, right? Wrong. You are wrong here, because Mental Unity, this skill that mages learn, is one of their most important abilities, like on boss fights or other fights that you expect to be long. Mental Unity is the thing you need to do on your mage before casting your spells, because they'll do like 50% more damage if Mental Unity's up. And if your mage does not have discipline, you'll only be able to use Mental Unity 3 times. Just 3 times. That is not a lot. And if you're fighting like a tough boss, it's very normal to have to re-up Mental Unity multiple times in a fight. So if you can only do it 3 times, your mage is just going to run out of SP and be, like said, and their damage is going to drop off pretty quickly. Also, the bonuses to MP is nice. 18 MP, that's not too much, but it's still nice. Also, but the HP though is pretty significant. 64 HP, that's almost a quarter of their hit points. I mean, for a Nameless adventurer, she has some other like HP bonuses and stuff, but 64 is quite a bit. And then of course the defense stats, you get an extra 18 defense, extra 18 magic defense, extra 18 evasion, extra 18 resistance, resistant protect against stage effects. All those are nice. Those are nice bonuses, but probably most importantly, you get an extra 18 magic power, extra 18 divine power. And this is just going to help your spell casting. And for a character you open chests with, you'll get those that extra detect and disarm traps. If you're using a mage as your main thief, discipline becomes very important for whichever one you use for opening chests, because their disarm traps could be on the lower end, but discipline can help make up the difference. Same thief with thief. Thieves tend to have kind of low detect. They'll have good disarm trap, but their detect will be kind of low. Again, discipline can help you with that. So discipline, very important. General adventurers also, like their discipline, they actually get a bit better stats at discipline rank 9. So a discipline rank 9, a general adventurer, they get 100 HP and 15 action speed. So that's like 50% more than the Nameless adventurers. Though on all the other stats, they only get plus 20, so it's only like 10% more on the others. So it's not that big of a deal. The main benefit is that they get more HP and action speed. So that could be a pretty significant boost, but it is important to note that getting a discipline rank 9 general adventure is a lot harder than getting discipline rank 9 Nameless adventures. Like if you know the drop rates from bones,
what do you seek?
Like a Nameless adventure has like 4-5 times the drop rate of a general one. So like let's go down here at the bottom. So the Nameless ones, they have like a 7.1% chance of dropping. That's way higher than generals. The generals are like 1.4% chance, so it's almost 5 times the chance. The Nameless ones do need more copies to discipline, but it's like 71 versus 36. So you need twice as many copies, but because they're 5 times as easy to get, it's a lot easier to discipline rank 9 and Elf Mag than it is to discipline rank 9 a General Mage. And let's just show like the difference in stats between like. So if you could only go to like say discipline rank 8, like at Marianne, she's only discipline rank 8. That is a pretty significant drop off from 9. Like I said, these are top heavy. You get the most stats, the higher levels. So at discipline rank 8, she's only getting 78 HP and just 11 action speed, and she's only getting 16 to everything else. So she is getting worse stats pretty much across the board except HP and action speed than Discipline rank 9 Elf Mag. So you have to consider that as well for like, when we talk about Nameless Adventures. Nameless Adventures do not get class changes, which is their biggest weakness. But for a character like a mage, a second class just isn't as important as it is for other classes, because mages, they have such a different playstyle from all the other classes. They're about casting spells, whereas every other class, they like having a second melee class matters. Like getting fighter on a thief matters because you can get those follow-up and counterattacks. Same thing as the knight. You want, like I said, having fighters a secondary class matters. For mages, a knight is a secondary class, probably the best one, just because the knight passives are good for survivability. Priest is a secondary class, is the other one that's pretty good because she'll get natural abilities to get all those spells. Though again, it should be noted that most priest spells are inheritable. There's the sources of them. Like I have quite a few priest spells on this character. We have Badios, Marim, Dios, Madios, Latimofus, Diador, Dialco, Rayleigh, Kufsis, and Obbit, Masalotu, Makaltu, and Makaldia, and Kanapiak. And plus we also have Way of the Priest, so Way of the Priest right here. So pretty much like almost all the priest abilities can be learned, whereas Way of the Mage, you cannot teach this to anybody. This is mage unique. So this is why Elf Mage is such a great Nameless adventure versus like something like the Elf Priest, Human Priest, they're just not, because you'll never be able to get in Way of the Mage, and a lot of the important mage spells like the lost spells that you want to cast with the mage, these are mage specific. You can't teach those, and you have to be a mage to actually use them. So being a mage just is helpful. Plus all mages have elemental specific abilities. She's dark element, so she gets the dark spells, plus she gets dark mage thaumaturgy, which is such an important ability in the post game. Reduce dark type damage to self is one of the best abilities in the game right now, because the way the end game is currently with everything casting dark type spells. So as a Nameless, she's just great, and she's the easiest mage you'll ever be able to discipline. And yeah, like a Discipline 9 Nameless adventure is more powerful than a Discipline 8 rank 8 general adventurer. And the same thing applies to legendary adventures. Legendary adventures, actually, a Discipline rank 9, they get quite a bit better stats than other adventurers. Like they're said, at rank 9, they actually get a very healthy 120 HP, as well as 18 action speed. So that's a pretty good bonus over the general adventures. But then you look at the other stats. The other stats are plus 28. Plus 28 to everything. That is 10 more than the Nameless Adventure and 8 more than the General Adventure. That is a huge bonus over the others. However, if you go down to Discipline rank 8, the drop-off is pretty steep. So they'd only, at Discipline rank 8, they only have 101 HP bonus and an action speed bonus of 15, and then everything else is 22. So they end up just Discipline rank 8, they are only get slightly better stats than a general adventure. And a Discipline rank 7, they are absolutely, like I said, their bonuses are much worse than worse than a general adventure. Not much worse, but slightly worse, because they would only have 88 HP and 13 action speed, 19 to everything, so they would actually be weaker than a Discipline rank 9 general adventure. And a Discipline rank 6, they're actually worse than a Discipline rank 9 Nameless adventure, because they'd only have 75 HP, just 11 action speed, but then 16 to everything. So this is something to keep in mind about like some of the limited time legendaries. A lot of people,
What do you seek?
like want to, they see these limited time legendaries. Like I said, this game, the business model for Wizardry Variants Daphne, very important to know this. Their business model is using FOMO, aka the fear of missing out, to sell people cute waifus and husbandos. That is the business model. And you have to realize that pretty much none of these exclusive characters are really worth it because of just how hard it is to discipline them. So let's go see it. I think there's a legendary mage up right now, right? So let's... Yeah, this is a mage, right? This is the mage girl.
Excellent choices.
Way to look at the bones. Okay, here we go. Okay, drop rates. So, Shelly Rionic, is a legendary mage you can get right now. However, the chance of pulling her bone is just 2%. That is a 1 in 50 chance. So if you spent 2,000 gems on here, your chance of actually pulling her is very low. You'd only have, your chance of getting her is like 20%. And again, she wouldn't have any discipline. It's like, she would not have any discipline.
Always ready to serve.
I have one copy of her, but there's no point in summoning. I don't think there's any point in summoning a character you can't discipline. When we're talking about math here, I think that's very important. You have to consider this when you're thinking about what characters are best. You have to understand like how the game is played. So if we look, right, so Shelly Rihanna here.
Sleepy.
Like, I have one copy of her, and this isn't even a good one. We have 5 bonus points. We did not get the +1 in IQ, so it's going to be really hard to actually get her to good stats. Her SP would be literal trash. She would only have 22 SP. So it would be terrible. She'd actually be a terrible investment if I can't discipline her. So this is kind of like why it's like, so I just think all these banners, they are pretty much well only. If you're a noob, they are pretty much noob traps. And the best banners to invest in are ones that don't have special adventures at all. Some of the best ever were the Legend of 3 Heroes, which had a higher chance of the main 6 legendaries, plus you had the potential inherits. The other one that was super, super good was the Marianne Greedy Priestess one. That one I actually wished I spent more on because that was such a good banner, because you had normal chance of the normal legendaries. Yeah, the Greedy Saintess ones always came with the option for Way of the Priest, and the chance on that one was 4%. You had a 4%, 1 in 25 chance of actually pulling her, and it's only 60 points from the exchange to actually get another guaranteed copy instead of 100. So if you go to like any of the exchanges here, all
What do
the
you seek?
these have like a theme is 100 points. You have to get 100 points to get a guarantee. That's 100 pulls, which is like 18,000 gems. Like, that's a lot. And if you want a discipline rank 9 Shelly Rihanna, you would have to spend about 100,000 gems, or about $1,500 USD to discipline rank 9. And I mean, if you don't want to go all the way, you just want to go to discipline rank 6. Remember, discipline rank 6, you're still going to have a bit lower stats than a discipline rank 9 elf mag. Even at discipline rank 6, you would have to spend about $750 to get to discipline rank 6 on here with just average pulls. I mean, you could be extra lucky and get it with less than. On the other hand, you could be super unlucky and still not get it with that. So that's kind of why I say I think legendary adventures, like these limited time ones, they are noob trap. I don't think anybody should develop any of them unless you are an absolute well. Like, the only legendaries you should worry about are like the 6 main ones, because they appear in all bones. And every exchange, this is the trick, the thing you should be buying in the exchange, is this legendary adventure main. It's just 60 points and gives you a guarantee of one of the main 6 legendaries. Katarina and Alice are both top tier mages. Lanavel and Geralt are both top tier, like, frontliners. And Adam and Deborah have some of the best inherits in the game. So pretty much this is always, you're always winning with this, by buying the legendary adventure mains. That's pretty much always a win. Always one of the best ways. And this was my strategy, is just to spend, instead of spending like
Do you seek?
70,000 or whatever trying to get like this super rare character, I just spend like 10,000, get that legendary adventures remains, and try to level up like a Yekaterina or an Alice as your mage. Like, and don't said, if you do get like a Shelly Rihanna, it's good inherit fodder. Like, don't said, rather than developing her, you could just use her for inherits, which is generally what I recommend doing with all the limited time legendaries. Like, you can just use these for inherits. Her inherit is super good. Pretty much, I think the only limited time legendaries that's even worth developing right now is Shio, and that's only because there's not any real choices for Samurai. There's only other options Bujin. When they start adding, like, once Memento Core could become a Samurai, though, if they add like a generic Samurai like they did with Human Ninja. Human Ninja is also a great character to develop. Like, she's nameless, but she's great. If you want a ninja, she is absolutely great for that. But yeah, discipline, super important, super big boost to your stats. And for a class like mage,
I am here.
like I said in my best mages to develop, best non-legendary mages to develop, I said the best mage is the one you can discipline highly, and I still stand by that, because SP is just, there's no other real way to raise SP on your mages. Like, literally half of Alice's SP at discipline rank 8 here is from her discipline. Like, she only has 22 base, and she gets 22 from her discipline at rank 8 here, and she gets quite a few her HPs, get quite a few MP. You're talking like a fourth of her total HP is going to be from discipline, and half of her SP, or even a majority. If I get her discipline rank 9, a majority of her SP would be from discipline. It is just hugely important, and the magic and divine bonuses are also nice. The action speed, Yekaterina gets plus 18 action speed from discipline.
How about a chat?
that solves your speed problems. You don't need to worry about gear because you only need like 90 action speed, so that saves you from having to put a bunch of extra action speed on your gear. It's just super good. Like, the benefits of Discipline are just super good. And should also note, like, all characters also have another Discipline skill that gives them another bonus in, like, a featured stat. So, Kathrine, she has Future Dreamt with the Skull. What this does, it gives her a bit of extra MP and skill Bind Tolerance. So, the featured stats are actually pretty low. For Legendary and General Adventures, it's +8 to those stats, except Speed. Speed's only +2, so Kathrine, she gets an extra 8 MP at Discipline rank 9. But the skill Bind Tolerance is probably more important. This part, like skills like this, probably more important because now she rarely gets skill bound, especially when you pair her with like another like thing like this has Bind Tolerance. Like, so with this ring and at Discipline rank 9, I have not seen her get hit with bind since I equipped this on her. Like, I've yet to see her get hit with spell bind since equipping this on her. So I think the Bind Tolerance is probably better than the actual featured stats. Though if you do have a featured stat on mage, MP is one of the best you can do. Some featured stats like speed are actually pretty bad. Like, if we go to the ruins here, if we go look at the features here,
You need to speak. Go on then. Counterattack! Witness the strength of the beast folk. You're the first human that could keep up with me.
I totally forgot to do that. My Let's Play the other anyway. But if you go see what's her featured stats, Surety Evasion. Okay, actually Surety is a decent Discipline stat. Do we have other? Does he have MP and Piety? So that's actually decent because you'll get extra 8 MP, and he gets Piety. Piety is actually one of the main traits. I don't know how much it increases Piety by, because that's not a stat that's trait. He's like the first one that gets a trait bonus, so I'm not sure how much it increases, but this could potentially be really good. Could also potentially suck, kind of like if you look at her, she has speed as a feature stat. Where is it? Yeah, speed. Action speed. So how much extra action speed she gets at Discipline rank 9? Just 2. So she'll have an extra 20 versus just 18. So action speed is one of the worst featured stats you can get because it's 2 action speed at Discipline rank 9. Not that particularly great, though. I'm pretty sure it goes earlier in the tree, so you'd get that sooner, but yeah, not too impressive. Magic power is nice, so she could get 8 extra magic power at Discipline rank 8. But yeah, the featured stats not as important. I think stuff like the Surety is probably more important just because you get like the normal bonuses. Like usually you don't get Surety from Discipline, but with like if it's a featured stat, you get like the normal rate. So you'd get like 28 Surety at Discipline rank 8 on Deborah here. So 28 extra Surety that you otherwise wouldn't have. That's actually pretty good. And I don't know like how much Piety this adds because this is new. A guy getting Piety is new, so I don't know if anybody knows exactly how much that adds, but it's potentially better too. So yeah, that's pretty much all there is to really talk about Discipline. It's actually a very important part of developing your characters, and it's why I think it's a big part of why I don't think the limited time legendaries are actually worth developing, because in the long run, they are going to be weaker than any of your other characters because they are not going to have that discipline when their stats are just going to be lower. And you're just like, if you want a mage that's going to be able to get the highest power possible, I mean, Elf Mag is your girl. Like, because you get so many more copies of her, it's also easier to find one with good stats. Like, when I summoned her, like, I had looked through all of them, waited till I had one with that +1 IQ, so she had that 20 IQ base, and then I also made sure I had at least 8 bonus points, so we started 28 bonus points, and she finished with a nice, healthy IQ of 91. We also get +5 from her ring here. We have this equipped on her because she has the highest IQ, so she gets the most bonus for it, so then you go there. But yeah, 91 IQ on a level 60 mage. I mean, none of my other mages come close to that. With an elf mage, you have the opportunity to ensure that you can get good stats, which is really hard to do on a legendary. Anyway, that's pretty much all there is to say about Discipline. If you want to know more about, like, the best, like, non-legendary mages to develop, like, because I've been talking about mage a lot because I use a 5 mage line, but I did a video about the best non-legendary mages, which you can find down below. As always, thank you for watching.